Alright guys, today we're going to be reacting to 3 true animated horror stories, so sit back, relax, and prepare to get scared. And I'll have this video linked in the description below in case you guys want to watch it on your own accord. But without any further ado, let's get into it.
I'm a fan of your show. This happened to me a few years ago. I'm a guy and I was in my 30s at the time. I live in a Scandinavian country. Back then, I used to go for walks late at night. It was a pretty safe area, or at least it used to be. But things started getting worse. More violent crime, mostly gang-related. Still, if you minded your own business, it wasn't usually a problem. So one night, around midnight, I was out walking. Up ahead, I saw a tall apartment building, and 2 men were pacing back and forth around
That shit
it.
looks eerie, man.
I recognized the building. A retired teacher from my school lived there. She was probably in her 50s by now. It felt a little strange seeing these guys circle the place, but I didn't think too much of it. Then I noticed they were acting off. They were standing on their tiptoes, peeking through windows. One of them even picked up a stick and walked back across the yard. That's when I realized they were about to break in, and I had just walked into the middle of it. They noticed me. They stopped and turned and stared directly at me.
That sent chills to my spine.
My gut told me to move fast, so I turned left to get out of there, but the path wasn't great either. It led past a school and an open lawn, totally empty. No people, no cover. I glanced back. At first, the men walked the other way, but when I made the last turn in front of the school, I spotted them again, hiding behind a bush, watching me.
It's over
waiting.
for you, buddy.
There's no way they ended up there by accident.
No, they're gonna get your ass.
If they weren't planning something, they wouldn't have followed me like that.
They're not even
At one point, I was almost home, so I did the only thing I could think of. I took my jacket off and held it up, like a decoy. Then,
what the hell is that gonna do?
Casually, back to my house. Nothing happened.
What the?
They didn't fall.
What the fuck is taking your jacket off and running with it like a decoy is gonna do?
Then I ran. Casually back to my house.
You look like you're on drugs.
Nothing happened. They didn't follow me. But I know I got lucky that night. If I hadn't turned left, if I'd kept walking straight into the dark, they probably would have robbed me. I still go for walks late at night sometimes, but only for 10, maybe 15 minutes, and I always stay close to the buildings, somewhere people can see me, just in case.
Maybe hold your own ground. Oh, damn, okay.
This happened 5 years ago when I was 15 years old. I was hosting a sleepover during the winter holidays. The weather that day was rainy and thunder was clashing louder than usual. I invited 5 of my closest friends over: Kai, John, Nick, Robin, and Marcus. We had all known each other since we were kids. Robin's uncle Blake also came over to keep an eye on us since my parents were away on vacation. They would not be back for a few days. My 2 bulldogs were with me too. Blake was a funny and easygoing guy, but he was no joke. He trained in professional martial arts and even coached MMA fighters. Everyone arrived that afternoon. I don't remember the exact time, but it was already pretty dark outside. The weather was classic winter with heavy rain and low skies. Blake ordered everyone pizza, and we decided to watch a scary movie. Honestly, it felt like the perfect night.
That's a creepy-ass movie.
The stormy weather set the mood. Halfway through the movie, the doorbell rang. We figured it was the pizza guy, and Blake went to get it. He looked through the peephole and saw the delivery man. He was about 6 foot tall and had a strange,
Alright, I'm gonna tell you just straight up from what this guy looks like. His wiener is in that box. You're gonna open it up and you're gonna just see wiener, dude. Don't fall for that trap.
Settling expression.
It's gotten me a few too many times.
Blake said the guy gave him a bad feeling right away. He opened the door and the man handed him the pizza. There were no words, just this long, creepy smile. Blake paid and shut the door quickly. Later he told us it was one of the most awkward moments of his life. He just stood there while this guy silently grinned at him. Something about him felt wrong. Still, we brushed it off and continued watching the movie.
Animation.
By the time it ended, it was close to midnight. We all decided to sleep in the same room. It was the large guest room upstairs. Everyone brought their own sleeping bags. I slept on the bed.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, okay? Just an observation.
And so did Nick. The others set up around us on the floor. Blake stayed downstairs, watching his favorite Netflix series on the couch.
Makes sense.
We stayed up talking for about 30 minutes before finally falling asleep. Then, a shrug on my shoulder. Nick was trying to wake me. His face looked worried. He whispered, "Did you hear that?" There was a knock coming from the window. At first, I thought it was thunder, but then he leaned in and said, "I think someone's trying to get in." My heart started racing. We stared at the window, frozen. The knocking stopped. Then a dark figure appeared, red at the glass.
I was wrong.
They were wearing a black or gray hoodie. I could not make out the face, just a shape, a shadow, but it was close, too close.
He's gonna eat your ass.
Adrenaline kicked in. I jumped out of bed and ran to the window. I locked it fast, just as the figure tried to lift it open. That was when I saw it. A crooked white tooth twisted into a vicious smile, but I still could not get a clear look at the rest of the face. I bolted back across the room
and as his
shook
hands are
everyone
up,
awake.
just throw a punch.
Then came the knocking again. Louder, meaner. He started yelling something, but the words did not make any sense. It was like my brain could not process them. We ran straight downstairs to wake up Blake. Blake did not hesitate. He grabbed my 2 bulldogs and headed outside. We followed behind him. What we saw was disturbing. There was a ladder leaning against the side of the house.
I thought there was just going to be a dude
right
on the
below
roof.
the bedroom window. The knocking sound had been the ladder tapping against the wall as the man climbed. Blake spotted muddy footprints leading to the backyard. He ran that way. That was when we saw him. The man was crouched under a garden bush trying to
beat his ass, Blake.
Blake charged at him, with the dogs barking beside him. The dogs lunged and bit into the man's hoodie.
Good.
And Blake punched him hard and fast.
Blake is not knocking anybody out with that weak-ass one punch.
And Blake punched him hard and fast.
Are you whipping for some nays or something, dude?
He yelled.
Come on.
We did. It took them a while to arrive because of the storm. When they finally got there, they arrested the man. Then came the part that still haunts me. The officers told us this was not the first time he had done something like this. And
officers for letting him back into society after he did it the first time.
Blake, he swore it was the same guy who delivered our pizza earlier that night. Since then, I have never let my guard down, and my dogs, they sleep in my room now.
Good.
Every single night.
He was in your room last second. True black
Hey, Wanzi,
magic.
my name is Becky. I'm from a country in West Africa called Ivory Coast, and I have a scary story.
Pause. Becky, why is your voice so damn deep? Okay? Can we address the elephant in the room? Becky, you sound like a 35-year-old white dude. I'm not even gonna lie here.
That happened to me when I was just 6 years old.
Well, I don't hear color, but I mean, the dude sounds 35 at least.
Back then, I lived in a small apartment with my parents. It was a quiet building, and I didn't have any friends to play with. There weren't any other kids my age around.
Nah, I can't.
So my parents hired a babysitter to take care of me whenever they were busy. One day, I told my babysitter I wanted to play outside the building. She agreed, and we went out together.
Out.
Right next to our apartment building, there was a small house, made entirely out of wood, and that's where I saw them. A group of kids playing right outside the wooden house.
Bro, they
I
just
got
look
excited and asked my babysitter if I could join them. She said yes. So I ran over and started playing with them. They were a bit older than me, and I remember they were all siblings. At some point, the older girl in the group said she had to cook something. I was curious and asked, "Can I help you?" She smiled and said, "Okay." Then she told me to go pick up some small rocks, and some big rocks too.
What are you
I
cooking
didn't
with
question
rocks?
it, I just did it. She brought out a big cooking pot and placed it over a fire, and then she began putting the rocks I collected into the pot. At first, I was confused, and I asked myself, what is going on? But I was just a kid. I tried to understand and tried to blend in. She covered the pot and waited. A few minutes later, she opened it again, and that's when I saw it. Inside the pot was rice and meat, cooked, hot, ready to eat.
What?
The same pot that was full of rocks just minutes before. I was shocked, but also amazed. I didn't understand how she had turned rocks into food.
It's
I remember thinking it had to be some kind of black magic. Then she invited me to eat with her and her siblings.
Don't eat it.
And I was so close to saying yes.
You're gonna lose your soul if you eat that. Don't do it.
Young, and I was naive, and the food smelled really good. But right then, my babysitter, who had been sitting a bit further away, noticed what was going on. She ran over and shouted, "Don't eat that food!" She grabbed my hand and pulled me away. We went straight home. She didn't even say anything on the way back. She just looked scared. Now I'm 16, and I still think about that day. What kind of magic did those children use? What would have happened if I had eaten that food? Ever since that experience, I don't like eating at other people's houses.
Smiles.
Because I've seen with my own eyes that not every meal is what it seems.
I've never had potatoes. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. That wasn't cool of me. I should treat you guys better. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.